It's going to be the start of something that is quite exciting and different, much more like we were in 2017, 2016, when we were starting the EAT community. And our growth was unbelievable. We went from a startup with no people to literally a, uh, a, a about 2,000 people. And when we did all of our webinars, then, and when Mark Shepard would talk, we'd have several hundred people every time. When Elaine talked twice, we broke the system. We had more than 1,000 people, meaning we had more than could come on. So we've got to get back to that. Our message is too important. So today, this is going to be recorded to where we turn it into several 5 to 20 minute, maybe not even 20, 5 to 12, 15-minute segments where we talk about very specific, you'll hear it. I'm using a script, which I rarely ever do because I want to really give a great message. Mark's going to be going back and forth from various of our online assets that we have, websites that we manage, tools that we've created, and then we're going to take all the questions at the end. So if you've got questions and something you put in the chat, please do that, just like we always do. But we're not going to get to them. I want to go all the way through this before we go to that. And so we've got 2 minutes now before we start, because I want to make sure we've stayed true to our community and not start early. Some of you have already come on. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. I cut myself shaving day before yesterday, and maybe you'll see that little cut. I wish that wasn't there, but anyway, it is. And if you
I thought it
notice,
was. I thought it happened due to cold weather. It happens like.
and I actually, my lips are dry. The little
uh,
bit, if you're seeing it at the level that the video is, you see the
Yeah.
little, yeah, right around. I also didn't shave today, which I, you know, earlier on in life, I shaved every single day. I wore a suit and a tie to the office. I did all those things. But now I probably shave every couple days, and yet I probably got more beard growth today than I've ever had. And so I didn't shave. And so you see a little bit of that. So that's a little bit of hair below my lip and a little bit above, but it's mainly dry lips. Yes, Mark, it is dry lips. Well, we have about a minute now. Mark's going to again go back and forth from just me talking to screen sharing. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to try to keep going with this script, and I'm going to try to have it done in under an hour. I see that we are top of the hour by Microsoft time and Apple time. So we are going to get started right now. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Talk with Wayne. I'm Wayne Dorband, founder of the Institute of Economics and the EAT community. I have spent my life as an economic businessman and a follower of Jesus, trying to answer one big question. How do we make a living and a life while healing the planet instead of destroying it? Today, I'm going to show you two things. One, why the current system of education and careers is completely broken for young adults, and I believe that strongly. Second, I'm going to show you how we're building a new alternative, a regenerative education and income path, and how you can actually make money. You can, helping us grow it. We're going to talk about a simple 4-step online funnel. You've heard us talk about funnels before, where there's a giveaway, a tripwire, a subscription, and a high ticket offer, and how you can plug into it using all the tools we already have. You won't have to pay for any of them. Some of those tools we've spent tens of thousands of dollars for, and you're going to be able to use them to earn income by marketing, finding clients, and even creating content. And the last one, I know some of you are unbelievably good at it. So we're going to ask you for those services. I'm going to break this talk into 4 chunks. Each chunk could stand alone. First, why the system is broken and what a regenerative alternative looks like. Second, a little bit of my personal story and what Economic really means in practice. Third, a 4-step funnel that we're going to be using, the giveaway, the tripwire, a subscription, and a high ticket offer. And fourth, how you can become a partner, use all our tools, and make money helping us reach people and change lives. So if those 4 pieces grab you, stick around. You're going to see exactly how they fit together. All right, Mark, you can also now start with some images if you'd like. So let's start with reality. Why the education system is failing young people right now. All right, let's be honest. The traditional path for young adults, and I'm defining young adults as anybody from 14 to 25, in that range, here's the script that they're handled. Go to school. They don't say this, but the second is get into debt. You can get student loans so easy, it's unbelievable. And then hope that the job market likes your degree in 4 to 8 years. And if you're 18, 19, 22 years old, that script's probably terrifying. Meanwhile, the planet is screaming for help. You've got degraded soil, polluted water, collapsing ecosystems, and we're still teaching young people as if the world is just going to keep on chugging along in that same way forever. I use the word ecolonomic, ecology and economics. For me, it means designing ways of living and doing business that actually improve the health of the planet and pay the bills. That's the heart of what I'm talking about today. Living regeneratively and earning regeneratively, not sustainably, regeneratively. Make things better. Young adults don't just need information, they need real skills that are valuable in the regenerative economy, mentors who actually have done it, a path to earn while they learn, not in 10 years, but in months. Let me say that again, a path to earn while they learn, not in 10 years. So you don't earn after all that learning is behind you. You should be learning forever, but not in 10 years, but in months. And that's what we're building. We're creating an alternative education program that's going to have degrees, certificates, where a young person can learn the basics of regenerative living and business. And that probably for many of you means farming, ranching, but it doesn't have to. It could be working in a city and still living regeneratively. Plugging into an online system, we call it a funnel that helps you and them, those students, find clients, create content, and earn income. And then do it inside a community that believes in caring for creation and building a better future. In a minute, I'll share my story, how I got here, but I want you to hold this in your mind. What if your education was directly connected to you making money by doing good instead of going into debt to make maybe some good someday? So how do I end up obsessed with this idea of economics and regenerative education? Let me rewind and share a bit of my journey. I didn't just wake up one morning with the word economics in my head. My background is growing up as an only child in a little town in the desert north of Los Angeles, My dad was a pilot. He worked 80, 100-hour weeks. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She was unbelievable. She taught that education was very important, and I enjoyed it. I don't know why, but I liked it. Because of that, I did a lot of it. I have a bachelor's degree, two master's degrees, and a PhD. I also felt that teaching was important. So I started teaching people doing different things when I was already, still not even hardly into my education. When I was a teenager, even, I was teaching people how to mow lawns that were older than me. I also love business. I love competition. And in business, if you succeed, typically it's measured by how much money you make and how many people you help. And it's competition because other people are trying to do the same thing. I've spent decades with one foot in science and one foot in business. And over, I keep seeing the same problem. How do you know how to do it better using the land? I also see that our economic systems reward doing just the opposite. We've got to figure out how we can reward for making the planet and the land better. At the same time, I've always loved teaching. As I said, I've mentored students, interns, young entrepreneurs. I've seen the light in their eyes when they realize, wait, I could actually do this for a living. I could heal land, grow food, help people, and get paid. My faith has always told me that we're meant to be stewards, not exploiters. Let me say that again. Stewards, not exploiters. That means we don't own this place. We take care of it. And if we take that attitude, we're going to not just care for the things around us, but we're also absolutely going to care for each other. So for me, economics isn't just a clever word, it's a calling. Over the years, I've worked on projects like farm and ranch work, regenerative training programs, consulting projects all over the world, buying properties that are heavily contaminated, cleaning them up, putting them back into productive use, training dogs that have become loving members of people's households, just like they are in ours, training people how to forage for food on their own property, wherever they might be in the world. And if they had to, they could eat dandelions and other things like that. And in all of this, what I realized is the biggest leverage is not just doing projects myself. The biggest leverage is teaching others how to do them and giving them a business system that lets them earn as they help others. That's where this idea came from, a regenerative education pathway for young adults. Combined with a network marketing style income. I'm going to talk about that. And some of you are cringing right now as you hear that. A network marketing style income opportunity where you can earn and have your own micro business, or maybe it's your full-time business, profiting from something and promoting something that you actually believe in. In the next part of this, I'm going to break down the simplest online structure I know for doing this, a 4-step funnel, which involves a giveaway, a tripwire. Well, what is a tripwire? A tripwire is something that you can pay amount of money for. It's probably $5 to $25 that you don't really have to think about. It's like buying a lunch at a fast food restaurant. You don't sit there and look at the menu and say, oh, this is so expensive. You just buy what you want to eat. The tripwire is followed by a subscription. A subscription is something that you pay for on a regular basis. So you get used to it. You all have subscriptions to newspapers, to online systems, to other things that our culture has gotten used to it. And then finally, a high ticket offer. We're going to use a whole series of different kinds of software. two things specifically, a program called Duplicate, which you're going to hear more and more about, and one that you've heard a lot about for the last 9 years, which is Kajabi, so that our members can plug in and start building right away. So let's get practical. How does this look online? How do we go from a cool idea to a real funnel that actually brings people together and allows them to make income as well as make the planet better? So let's talk about this 4-step funnel, this giveaway, tripwire, subscription, and high ticket. And what's the purpose of this? It's to educate you about a marketing model we're using so that we can have you help us. And we'll use things like Samcart and other tools that we've already paid thousands of dollars for to help with. Now, I want to zoom in on the online structure right away. If you've ever heard the term funnel and thought it sounded complicated, don't worry. We're going to keep it simple. The funnel means that everyone out there that we're trying to market to, and we're talking about students right now for this funnel, people from 14 to 25, they're out in the ecosystem that will ultimately come into a funnel. At the top of that funnel, we're going to give something away. And it isn't going to just be free, it's going to be useful. People will start to come out of the funnel at that point. They'll leave it. And maybe it's better to call it a sieve than a funnel, but we've always called it a funnel, so I'm not going to try to rename things. But as they get further down, we're going to have what's called a tripwire, a low cost, low risk first purchase. Again, I've said it before, $5 to $25. And then more are going to come out. That sieve process is going to occur, and less people are coming through it, to where eventually we'll also have a subscription, which is ongoing support, a community, and new content. That's all the pieces that it will include. That'll probably be in the range of $49, $59 to $100 a month, in that range. And then ultimately, for a very small number, by the way, not these students, they're going to get this stuff for free. All right. They're going to get this education that we're going to end up providing with scholarships, not debt. We're not going to put them into debt. Much of what they do is going to be work in which they earn as well as learn. That high ticket offer is for you, the people watching this video, where we give you a deeper, more intensive transformation. So maybe you're somebody like me that's a little later in their lives. You have a ranch, you have a farm somewhere, you have a business. And what's your succession plan? Think about that for a second. What are you doing to make it to where your farm, your ranch, your business keeps moving? Is it your kids? Maybe. You know what I've found? Most often it's not. Your kids don't want to do anything like what you're doing. Okay. That's just life, right? But maybe it is. But are they trained properly? Do they have the training that's needed to help take that responsibility on? That's going to come from this high ticket offer. That's what we're going to use to generate some income for us, to help us get scholarships and to have scholarships for these students that are going to go through this whole program. And then also to help you as you're transitioning in your life. So maybe you're 45 years old, you're not even near retiring yet. How can you avoid getting to be my age and not having a succession plan? I find farmers and ranchers every day where one of the two members of a family, a couple that are running a farm and ranch, die. The other one that's being there now either can't run it themselves, don't want to run it themselves, or don't have the means to run it themselves. So what do they have to do? Sell it. Maybe it's to developers that want to turn that really cool land into apartments, condominiums, Jack in the Boxes, McDonald's, you name it. And that's not that that's horrible, but is that really what you saw as your legacy in that land? I don't think so. So that's the whole purpose there. So here's some examples of each of these 4 segments. What's this giveaway going to be? It's going to be a short video training, a mini course, or a powerful PDF guide, or all of the above. We're already doing that. We already have a lot of that. Mark showed, I saw on the screen some portions of our EAT community, which you guys, most of you have, and you don't even take advantage of. So you need to really be doing that. It's already there for you. The goal is not to sell in this first step. The goal is to help and start a relationship. We want someone to say, wow, if that's what they give away, the paid stuff they have must be incredible. All right, so what's the second step? It's the tripwire. Again, this small, low-priced offer, maybe $7, maybe $17, maybe $27, probably all of those. There'll be multiple options. So the giveaway will have actually a number of different kinds, and then we'll have a number of different tripwires, and all in that small price range. So what does it do? It gives a person a bigger win. Now they see that we have something more than just that giveaway. It gives them something that better that we have to offer. It turns them from a subscriber into a customer, which changes the relationship. All right. And again, subscriber meaning that they've basically allowed us to market to them. They've given us their phone number, they've given us their email address, and we've been sending them information. And we don't want to scam people with all kinds of stupid information. We haven't done that ever with the EAT community, and we won't start doing it now. The third is a subscription, but this is now a paid subscription. This is something where we want them to have to invest something they have to think about, to where on a monthly basis they go, wow, am I using that membership that I pay $100 a month for? So let's look at your gym circumstances. Did you know the stats show that the average person that has a gym membership that they pay $30 to $50 a month from doesn't use it? A gym only has a third of its members using their membership every month. 2/3 of them never use it during that month. 2/3 of them may only use it once a year. Half of them don't even use it annually. So we want this subscription to be something that you every month you look at and you say, this is giving me value. I'm glad I've got it. And you're using what you're getting. Here's what you're going to get: regular trainings, regular Q&A, a community. That's what's really important. And we have not done that very well at EAT to this. We have not developed a community as good as we should. We're going to pledge to you that we're going to do that. A place you can just hang out in. Instead of going to Facebook, you go to the EAT community. Instead of going to whatever other social media you use, you hang out with other people who care about making the planet better by making a living doing it. And in this case, they care about educating people, young people, to be able to make this planet better. Young people are our future. We've got to teach them, and we've got to do it to where they don't go into debt. And then finally, there's going to be new tools and new content each month. So you always want to come back because you go, wow, I'm paying for this. What am I going to get next month? So this is probably going to be something like a monthly regenerative education and support community for different kinds of people. So the young adults don't have to hang out with us old folks. They don't want to be there. They want to be with their own folks. They do want mentorship, but they don't want to hang out with us. They want to hang out with other young people. The last piece of this funnel, again, is a high ticket offer. and this is for people who do want more, this is not going to be very many people. They want deeper mentorship. And in that, I'll be working with people one-on-one. Others of our leaders will be working with people one-on-one. We'll grab people like Mark Shepard to work on people one-on-one. We'll have Elaine Ingram to be able to work with people one-on-one. We'll have Evan that we're talking with next week to work with people, Evan Folds and William Horvath. I said next week for Evan, it's going to be William that's with us next week. We've done 13 sessions already with William. We're going to do more now, and we're going to get him to be a mentor for people throughout the world, and he's over in Croatia. It'll be implementation. How do you use whatever you learn at your own land? Whether that's an apartment with a deck that you can put a small aquaculture system on, which is my background and my expertise, or whether it's a farm and ranch where you've got a 3-acre pond and you got a river running through it, and you want to have fish that are growing in it. You want to have them for fun to catch. You want them to be food. You want to live from those if you would need to. And then finally, we'll have live intensive or small group coaching that is part of this big ticket items. So I just don't want you to learn about this. I want you to think you don't want to just learn it. You want to live it and build your whole life income around it if you could. That's what we want to do for these young people. You may be at the point in your life where that isn't your goal, but we want that for these young people. Now, here's the important part. If you're really thinking like a business owner, we're building these funnels so that our members, people like you, can plug in using our tools to send traffic to our giveaways, earn income as people move through the tripwire, the subscription, and the high ticket items. If we have a high ticket item that's $1,000, $1,500, you're going to make 50% of that if you're the person that led somebody to it. Would another $500 or another $750 mean something to you? It would to me, probably would to all of you. And you aren't going to have to invent any of this. We'll have already put it in place. We'll give you the structure, the content, the funnel, and here's what you bring. Just like I've already did a little bit of your story, your energy, your network. In the final part of this talk, I'm going to show you exactly how this works, how members can make money helping us market, find clients, and even creating content. So you've seen the 4 parts of the funnel. Now let's talk about the fun part. How can you partner with us? Use these funnels through our tools and build a regenerative income stream. Let's bring this all together and talk about what your role in this is and could be. We're building this as a marketing funnel using a network marketing style opportunity. So let's stop there for a second. Those of you that are cringing right now and going, oh, this is horrible. Let's talk about what that concept really means. It means having something that's of value that you didn't invent. Maybe you did, and if you did, you should get more value from it, but something that someone else created. You market it directly to people, and you get paid for doing that. But you also bring other people in. We're going to call them affiliates, and they're going to be called regenerative affiliates, okay? And when those people come in, they also will make a profit, and you're going to get a chunk that comes out of our economic company, the EAT community, and takes away because we're already making others. So let's say, again, it's one of those $1,000 high-end products. The person that marketed it directly made the connection is going to get 500. If you brought that person to us you'd probably make a 200 in that range, to where that still leaves 300 for the EAT community. The person that sold it would be making 500. And because you brought them in to the new system here, you'd make a couple hundred. If this isn't making sense, put it in the chat. We're going to answer questions at the end here, and we're going to address any comments or thoughts that you have. And if you actually have some better thoughts, this is not going to be a multi-level marketing. It's going to be 2 tiers. I just gave the 2. One tier being people who are just marketing the things that they can make some income from. And then the second tier being those people they directly talk to. And so let's say those people at that next level talk to somebody, you wouldn't make any money from them. That if you made some money from that, that would be what's called multi-level marketing. We're not doing that. This is networking. We're using a wide community, and it's only 2 tiers. There's the person selling directly to a buyer, and then there's the person that introduced them. Those 2 are going to get paid, and then the EAT community is going to get paid. So again, it's a network style. We're going to call it regenerative marketing with affiliates, and you can be an affiliate. Cost to become an affiliate? No. Anybody that, and you don't even necessarily have to have bought the $1,000 product yourself. Matter of fact, most of you won't have. And you are going to be able to show it to others, and they're going to potentially then be able to purchase it. You'll make a 50% profit from it. And then if they end up selling it, you could make an additional 20% of what the price of what they sold was. So that would leave, again, 30% for the EAT community. And that's enough for us to make enough to keep this whole system moving and rolling. What's the product? It's going to be a regenerative education. We're going to reinvent education. And if it's education, it also has community. So the product is going to be regenerative education and the community that's going to be with it. If you try to learn all on your own, and if any of you have master's degrees or PhDs, advanced degrees, even though you did a lot of learning individually, you were still a part of a community. And I guarantee if you tell others stories about your time in that education process, you're going to talk about your buddies, your friends, those other people that were there with you. And those will be lifelong relationships for you. I guarantee it. I did a lot of post-college education at 3 different graduate school circumstances. And those friends that I made, those people in my community and our community, are lifelong relationships for you. The system is the online funnel we're talking about. So the marketing side of it is going to be online. The education side of it is mostly going to be online and hands-on. We're not going to have buildings for a big college campus or post-secondary campus. Instead, we're going to have greenhouses. We're going to have ponds. We're going to have rivers. We're going to have forests. We're going to have fields. We're going to have livestock. We're going to have guard dogs. We're going to have, you name it, that you first learn about online in the comfort of your home or wherever you're at, using the internet that we're all having available to us. And then the last piece of the learning is going to be apprenticeships. You're going to be learning out with people that are already doing it. You are going to help people see, if you're the student, you're going to help them see you could be the succession plan for their business, or you could help their children be the succession plan for their business, their farm, their ranch. So it starts being online and it moves to being hands-on. And the hands-on portion is you, if you're the student doing it. You're fixing cars, you're fixing equipment, you're learning how a harvesting piece of equipment works. You're learning about soil management. You're learning about water management. You're learning about all these things first online, first through our regenerative education and that community. Then you're putting it into practice by being an apprentice. And that apprentice ultimately turns into a certificate, which you can then use, and you will be able to have an income following it. You're going to make money as the apprentice too. It's not something you're doing as a volunteer. There is not a volunteering element here for the education. You earn while you learn. And the work is about serving people, not hyping them. All right. So how are you going to earn at the front end here? So how can you, those of you in the audience right now, marketing the giveaway? You'll have your own version of our funnel using the tools, mainly this system called Duplicate, with your own links. They'll be unique to you. Your job is to drive people to the giveaway. How are you going to do that? Through social media, through conversations, through your content. Because remember, I said earlier, I know some of you are writers. Some of you could create videos. You've got existing content that's sitting somewhere doing nothing, sitting in your computer's hard drives, sitting on your walls in your office behind you. A number of those things you see are things I wrote back there, and they're sitting there. I've done so much writing through my career that did reach somebody, but it didn't reach that many. The more eyeballs you bring, the more lives you touch, and the more of your business is going to grow in terms of money that you would make from it. All right, now let's say that you have put that in front of people and you're finding and grabbing some clients. You don't have to worry about dealing with them unless you want to. We're going to use people that are in our organization to do that too. But as people move from the giveaway to the Tripwire, the subscription and the high ticket offers, you're going to earn commissions. And I talked about the high ticket one, but you're going to earn it on the Tripwire too. If we're selling something for $5, you're not going to make 50% of that. We can't afford that, but you'll make, something, you'll make $1 or something. That's not a big deal, but gosh, that's a little bit of a win. A subscription, you market a subscription for $100 and you're going to probably earn 30% or so, $30 a month from that. That's not trivial. You get 10 of those, that's $300 a month. You get 100 of those, that's $3,000 a month. That's huge. High ticket offers, the numbers can be a full-time living for you if that's what you like. You're going to be earning commissions. You're not just a referrer, you're a guide. You can say, I'm part of this. I'm learning this. Let's walk this path together. I've already talked about this, but creating content. If you love creating videos, posts, articles, ebooks, we can feature and repurpose your content inside this system. It not only helps the community, but also helps drive traffic through ours and your funnels. Under the hood, we track under the hood of the car, and in this case, in the business, we track all of this with online systems using this program I talked about, Duplicate, and other back ends. So you're making sure you're getting paid. You sell one of these things today, you're going to get paid not 6 months from now, maybe as soon as tomorrow. Certainly as soon as their person's credit card clears, and all we do is have an online system that processes it. And it could be that same day. you're going to be rewarded for your personal effort, for your team building, and most importantly, ultimately, the success of those students. Because some of you were going to ask to be ambassadors and to literally be the mentors for these young people. Most of you aren't going to want to do that, but there are some of you. I guarantee there's some of you listening to this right now that want to be mentors. You want to help young people. This is not some get rich quick scheme. This is a serious attempt to build an alternative education and income pathway. Remember, not just the education, it's and the income pathway for people who want to heal the planet and build a life that they're proud of. So, if that resonates with you, here's what we'd like you to do next. Step one. If you're watching this, you've got a link and you should use it and grab a free giveaway. If you already don't have that, just do that. Just experience the system from the front end. Get it to where you can relate to it. Step two, on the thank you page that you've got, and you'll see it, you'll see an invitation to learn about our partner member program. That's what we really are wanting you to get to know. There's going to be a short video. Watch that short video. It's not going to be 20 minutes long even. It's going to be very short. Speed it up if you like to learn more quickly. Step three, if you feel really aligned, here's the big one. Apply and enroll to be a founding member. I'm going to say that one more time. Apply to be a founding member. There are only going to be a few of those. I'm serious. There won't be more than 10. Maybe at the very most 15, but 10 to 15. If you do that, you're going to get access to our regenerative education content and all of it, everything. And by the way, it's not going to be cheap to be a founding member. We want you to really feel a little bit of hurt by doing that. And I said, I think for the first time there. I do it sometimes when I'm speaking, but I'm reading a lot of this from a script because I really want to get it right. This is important, really important. Second thing you're going to get is you're going to get your personal access to all these tools we have, these duplicate funnels and every other thing. You won't have to develop them. We'll do that for you. You're going to get that if you're a founding member. We're going to train you on marketing, client finding, and content creation, which can be used by you and other businesses that you have, completely unrelated to this. And lastly, and this is maybe the most important, you're going to be a part of a community of a very small number of people where we get together, where you come here to Idaho, we go to San Diego, we go to Bali, I don't know, we go great places, we do cruises together, we do stuff that masterminds a very small number of people do that have success. You've got that small number of people already in your lives, probably. We want to create another group at this point in your life that you would have that involvement. So my vision here is pretty simple. We are creating a global network of economic entrepreneurs who are making a living and a life by healing the planet. If you want to be part of that, I'd love to walk this journey with you. Thanks for spending time with me on this Talk with Wayne segment, and let's go build something regenerative together. I'm going to hang out here. We probably got some questions and comments. I told Mark that we were going to make them at the end. We still have 20 minutes to the middle of the hour. Mark, I did that a lot faster than I thought I would.
Right.
So,
Yeah, we
all
got
right.
a lot of A lot of grounds covered.
Yeah,
So
we covered a lot there.
yeah,
So Mark will be editing this and we'll be putting together at least 4 clips from it, maybe 5. And man, somebody was smiling at me. God, and is what I'd use. That's the first phone call I've had, and I typically will get interrupted. Sort of, I don't answer them when I'm doing a webinar, but by many of these. Mark was showing some tools. I did use the word there. I was trying not to. Let's see what else we've got here. I'm going to I'm going to increase the size of this again and go to,
yeah, and I'm going to request everybody who's watching right now to share what you saw today. So it's going to get out. Even if you're watching it on YouTube, Facebook, whatever, just share it.
yeah,
Let your
please,
friends know. Yeah.
please do. Real quickly, though, this is for Paresh, who's on here. Paresh and I spoke the other day. I didn't get this to you, Paresh, and it's not going to happen today yet, but I have got, 20 pages worth of unbelievable thoughts. Didn't come from me, really. A few of them did, but quite honestly, I used AI and I used some other just knowledge that I have generally about how we can help you work with farmers there in India and do the things that I know you're passionate about. By the way, we didn't have huge expectations, but how good was Ronald yesterday, Mark? That was awesome. He was just great.
Yes.
And
Great
he's
guy.
in Uganda where people are starving, everybody. I hope people aren't starving where you're at. They are starving in children, especially in northern Uganda near Sudan. And Sudan is just an awful place in the world right now. It's where some of the worst turmoil going on is, and people are starving there. So anyway, we really need to get things on. So let's go back and see what we've got. Alicia talks about a 4-H expert series. 4-H is awesome. Um, I would bet if you asked 100 people walking on the streets of Boise, Idaho, right now, or New York City, or Chicago, or Los Angeles, that were under 30 years old, if they knew what 4-H was, 90 of them would go, what? No, I don't have a clue what 4-H is. So 4-H is amazing, and farm kids do get an opportunity to be in it. Every one of my 4 did. Only 2 of them really did it. The other 2 didn't care, or were just didn't see it that it made any sense for them. But they had the opportunity. They certainly would know what it is, but they're not 20 years old either. Their youngest one's 35. So, but it 4-H is dying. I wish it wasn't, but it's dying. And there are way less people in 4-H today than there were in the United States 10 years ago, and way less than there were 30 years ago. Because I bet if you went down the streets in New York and asked somebody under 30, 10, 15, 20 years ago, half of them would know what 4-H was. Maybe 60, 70% would. Again, I doubt that 10% would know today. That's scary. It's not good. But there is in the chat a very cool link to 4-H where you can learn about it. 4-H is awesome. Let's get a speaker. Bring us speakers, everybody. You bring a speaker that we put on and get on. That's going to be part of this money that you're going to be able to make from referring. That's bringing us content to be able to put on our system.
There's a question from Paresh. He's asking if someone from India can become an affiliate or a founder member for you. Is that possible?
Certainly affiliate, yes. And we'll have to figure out exactly how that works, fortunately, because we're not trying to build a multi-level. Multi-level is regulated by governmental sorts of things, and you got to be really careful if you're doing things with that. Affiliates, not highly regulated. You just got to make sure you're good to your word and you pay people for what you tell them you're going to be paying them for. By the way, I didn't intend it today, but my hat matches my sweatshirt. I'm not usually that, but yes, there definitely will be the ability to market the affiliate program in India. We're going to potentially look for founders members. Yes. We have not yet determined all the criteria for a founder, but maybe that's you in India, Paresh. So
And
that's possible.
and what kind of support he would get as as he develops the business?
Unfortunately, if it's the affiliate side at the front end, it's not going to be as much as we're getting here because we don't have somebody that's as committed as I think we're going to need somebody to be. If it was you, though, Paresh, and maybe you are that committed, then they would get a lot more support. So we need to discuss that. If a person is a founder, and again, I haven't given you a number on that. Anybody that wants that's in the audience, put in the chat what you think the number is going to be. And I will just tell you right now, we're talking a big number. I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to use something. I'll let you put numbers in and you can think about ranges. But the reality is, for the number I'm thinking about that it's going to be for those 10 people, shoot, I'll be on a plane into India as soon as you get me there, as soon as my passport will allow me to do it. That's support. And we'll set up weekly calls. These founders are going to have unbelievable benefits.
Okay, Faye has a question. She says, "Hi Wayne, on the last link in the chat, I get an error message. An error has occurred." So I don't know which the last link where it came from.
Well, there's a bunch of connections here in the chat about how to do one-on-one training, 18 employee training methods and such that people are putting in. I'm not down to where you're at yet. It looks like the last chat that I see is a link to the Art of Regenerative Education.
Yeah,
if that's broken, there's nothing I can do about that. I'm sorry, but somebody else put that in.
Yeah, I clicked on it. It's a link to a PDF and it opened up for me. So I don't know if maybe you don't have the PDF reader.
And anybody that wants to can be unmuted right now, so we could talk to you if you'd like.
Yeah, just raise your hand. I'll unmute them.
And Faye, it's been a while. How are you doing, by the way? We appreciate you coming, but it sounds like that's a PDF. Maybe you're talking about something else, though. I don't see something in the chat. Mark, what am I missing? I'm all the way at the bottom. That's the last one I see.
Yeah, that's all there. But I can share the PDF with audience if they would like to see that. I can share it on screen. And this is what the link goes to, the Regenerative Education Educatorship Development Guide.
Interesting. I haven't read that. It's obviously from looks like European authors, which is cool. I hope what regenerative education means is that as an instructor, as someone doing the educating, that you want your education process to be better every day than it was the day before. I've had lots of educators in my life. Most of them bragged about just the opposite of what that implies. They bragged about, I'm using the same tools I used 20 years ago. I didn't have to work at all to get anything. I'm doing the same thing I did 20 years ago. That's not very regenerative. So, I mean, I hope this talks about, it looks like it's an ebook that's a PDF. And so thank you for that, though. That's great. Is that what's not linking? Where's the message that you're even seeing from Faye? I don't see one.
Yeah, it's in questions. So it's a Q&A, and if you click on
Oh,
that,
it's in the questions. So
Yeah.
I'm not seeing the Q&A.
and yeah, you have to click on there's one for chat.
I'm doing this because I actually have my camera. I wanted to be looking right at my screen. So
Right.
as I was doing that, I got my camera literally, it's blocking a part of the menu that is there for Zoom.
Yeah, so there are two places where questions and comments come up. So one is chat and one is Q&A with a question mark on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And once you click on it, it shows all the questions. So there's one anonymous attendee says, yes, I would appreciate the PDF. And I don't know who's anonymous, so, and why
Yeah.
they're not.
There's a question and answer from somebody anonymous. But Mark had got it open, and have you posted, is there another link or whatever? How are we going to get that to people, Mark? Let's figure that one out.
Yeah, I can copy this link and see if that works.
All right.
And if not, I can email people who are on today, get a
Yep.
copy of this.
It looks like it's a pretty cool one.
Right. Yep. So I can email the, if this doesn't work, then I'll just email you guys, whoever is on today. You'll get this in your mail.
Nobody's put in a number. What should a founder membership cost?
I can suggest something for you, but I want the audience to put the number first.
You want to know what I paid to get 8 weeks with 2 sessions a week? I'm in the middle of it right now to learn how to use duplicate. What do you think I paid for that? Mark maybe has heard this. I'm not sure I've even said it to him, though.
No, I don't know, but I think I can guess $1,500 to $2,000.
1,500 to 2,000?
Yes.
Okay. I'll tell you in a minute. That's not right. But and I didn't pay what they stated was the retail price. I paid less. I negotiated a lower number. And that's life. I would hope you all are thinking you could negotiate things in life. You really should always be trying to do that. The old adage in business is if you don't ask, you won't get. And if you don't ask for a lower price to something, if you really think it should or could be that, don't blame anybody but yourself if you buy it for whatever that number is and you think it should be lesser. Nobody else is writing anything, but I paid 27,000.
Wow, 27,000. Wow.
I couldn't do I couldn't do a extended pay. Had to be at once. So I negotiated it to that instead of paying 35,000, which I could have probably negotiated to where they'd allow me to make maybe 2 payments for that. So pay 17,500 and 17,500, but I would have paid 7,500 more. So I negotiated the 27,000. Is it worth it? If I were to leave it right now, I'm halfway through it, I'd say no. They did have one promise. If I don't generate at least $27,000 worth of income from what I've learned from it, and I don't have to demonstrate that other than I don't even have to show receipts. It can be an honor system. If I come back to them and say, I didn't get the value out of this, if I didn't earn 27,000 from it, then they'll repay whatever the difference is between the 27,000 and what I did sell. They have one member that I've already met that went through. So what they do is they do cohorts of, they call them cohorts, where each of the cohorts goes through 8 weeks. So I started mine 4 weeks ago. I'm halfway through it. And by the way, it doesn't just end then, it's a lifetime. I get lifetime access. We're actually all going to meet in San Diego in January. And again, that session's paid for. That's part of the 27,000, so it's not additional cost to me. But most of it's online. Otherwise, I'm not seeing people live. There are 8 people in my cohort, so there were 8 people that paid that amount. 4 of those 8 have become ridiculously close friends. They're going to be friends for life in the 4 weeks. We meet 6 or 7 times a week, either as 2 or 3 or 4 of us, or all 8 of us. Again, it's good. Have I gotten $27,000 worth of value yet? No, but I'm pretty confident that I will. Have I met anybody live yet, including the instructors? And no, it's all online. But it's a lot of hands-on work, and we're creating tools as we go, and I'm training staff. So Mark is learning to be a duplicate expert. So I've been given the tools to help train Mark. I'm ADHD, so I got to always be moving stuff with my hands and my feet and you name it. So I'm moving my glasses. This is a cool one. Alicia just put one up. Somebody that we used to have do webinars with us on a regular basis, Raleigh Latham. And we used to have him do a webinar with us through what he called restoration. What was it? It was restorations. Anyway, I just got my first email from him in a long time about what Alicia just put up here, which is India's water revolution, and about the largest regenerative agriculture water restoration project in the world that's going on in India right now. I have not watched any of these YouTube videos about it, but it sounds like they might be spectacular.
Yeah, Raleigh had masterclass. I think it's called Regenerative Masterclass, something like that, right?
Yeah, it was the Regenerative Master Class. That's right. That was the name of it. And it still is. He hasn't done, I don't think he's done any webinars in a long time. I mean, years. And so this is the first one in a while.
Right.
Nobody's putting in a number. I told you, I paid 27,000 for 8 weeks of study, plus a lifetime relationship, and then a trip to San Diego. And actually, I have a second one that will be to Arizona, to Tempe, in the end of the winter in May, into the spring. It's going to be a little hot there then. I'm not sure. I'm not that excited about that one. That one is paid for, but not my travel or my lodging. So I still have to pay for that separately.
Okay, so Paresh asked, Doctor, the program that you paid 27K is about, what is it about?
It's about online marketing, how to become an expert online marketer, how to cause the EAT community to grow like it did in year 1, which we did from June of 2016 to about October of 2017, a little bit more than a year. Mark, how many people did we add and how active were those people? Do you remember?
I was a little distracted. Can you repeat? I was reading something.
From the start of EAT, which is
Oh,
June
okay.
6, 19,
Right.
2016. We'll have our 10-year anniversary in less than
Hmm.
a year, to about October or November of 2017. How
Right.
many people did we add, and what was the level of involvement of those people?
I would say few hundred, 500 or 600.
Oh, it was over 1,700,
Okay.
and we and the level of involvement was huge. We would
Right.
have, like I said, thousands at our big webinar sessions,
Hmm.
hundreds at most others. You couldn't
Correct.
even
Yeah.
get all the questions in from people.
Yes.
Um,
Especially with Mark Shepard and Elaine and even Rawlins.
yeah.
Guess he used to have good
And
engagement.
Presh said he enrolled in something in India for 400 US dollars. Our founder members are going to be closer to put about 3 more zeros on that, in the 50 to $100,000 range. Here in the US. Again, I get that maybe nobody in India could afford to pay that amount of money. But here in the US, there are a lot of people that could afford it. There are farmers and ranchers in the US that drop $40,000 daily for items. Do you know how much a combine to harvest wheat costs today? Pick a number, somebody. How much does a John Deere wheat harvest combine cost? 1.4 million.
Wow.
How often do they replace them? Every year. How often are they used? About 1 month a year. Sits for the other 11 months. $1.4 million.
Wow.
How much does a truck, how much does a new Ford F-350 pickup cost today?
200,000?
100,000, over
100,000?
100. You'd be getting a
Okay.
bare bones truck for 80, 90, and get a little, closer to the sort of middle top of the line for 100 and 120, you get the top of the line.
Hmm.
I bought one last year that was not the top of the line, but close to it. A year old. It was used, and cars depreciate a lot in their first year. Ford F-350 truck with 12,000 miles on it, one owner. He had paid 107,000 for it. I paid 80. Again, price had depreciated. Still has it has a 100,000-mile warranty, so I'll probably, I'm not driving it nearly as much as I used to. I'll probably get 7 or 8 years out of that warranty, which warranties everything that could go wrong with it. Yeah, the Acres USA conference is coming up in Madison, Wisconsin, and I've been to multiples of those. I'm not probably going to go to that one. It's in the middle of the winter there and here, but somebody put that in, and that's great that we can see that. Even as a student going to that conference, it's at least $1,000. Yeah, it looks like they're linking a bunch of other conferences. So there's a Wisconsin Water and Soil Health Conference following it. So the EcoAg, which is Acres USA sponsored, is December 1st through 4th. And then the water conference is the 5th through 8th. And there's a soil health conference that's in Wisconsin Dells, which isn't an hour drive away from Madison, maybe not even that far, the 16th or the 17th of December. So there's a little bit of break there. What does a student pay to go to a large US university every year right now? Prominent United States university, not Harvard, not the top end. University of Colorado, University of Idaho, University of Wisconsin. What do they pay? What does everybody think?
Right
Room
now, I
and
haven't.
board, room and board, tuition, books, fees, the cost to be there a year. 4 years. So they've got a 4-year college education. What is the cost of it? What is the cost of a typical major college? And maybe and let's just say right now they didn't get any scholarships. They probably will get some scholarships. Those will handle tuition potentially or a portion of it. The average US college student from a major university is coming out with $80,000 in debt from student loans. And you can get them for nothing. Snap your fingers, you can have any kind of a credit rating, and anybody can get it, that debt. You finish college, you have no skills, you do nothing. That's what most of them come out with. And you're 80,000 in debt. Go to Harvard, you're twice that amount in debt. And Steve put in
Wow.
75K for something here. I'm not sure which one, what he was saying that for. Give us a little more detail. That's for what level here? By the way, we're over about 8 minutes. We can stop whenever anybody's. I don't have any place else to go right now, but
Yeah, I did a Google search for cost, and it is um uh 20 27,000 per year. That's what it's saying.
that's for 4 years. Do that math. That's over 100 grand.
Yep.
So and Steve said 75. I mean, I think 75 would be on there would certainly be colleges you can go to for 75 for 4 years. Probably not the big ones. And then what are you studying? Again, that's where, and what practical knowledge are you getting? Let's say you were getting a degree in agriculture. I think you actually would still get something pretty valuable if you're getting ag, because you're going to have to do some kind of hands-on. But honestly, what you probably ought to get for 4 years is about a year really of non-hands-on and 3 years of total hands-on, probably 3 years in 3 different places. So you're going to 3 different locations, working with 3 different one-on-one mentorships with the owners, the operators, whatever that farming operation is. You're getting additional stuff that you're getting online in the evenings or whatever your off time is. And you are absolutely getting your hands in the dirt, as they say, to get an education. That's not happening very many places. $13 million business owners in the United States are over 65 years old. The vast majority of them have no succession plan for their business. None. Their kids don't want them. And of those 13 million, most are service businesses. Accounting firms, legal firms, consulting, different advising of all different kinds. And I've told the story. I have a daughter who's 37 now, who has been told for the last 10 years that as soon as her the couple that runs her accounting firm retires, that she's going to take it over. And they keep saying, this is the year, 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 for 10 years in a row. They still haven't retired. She doesn't make squat as a living there. She's taking their word for it that when they retire, she's going to take it over. She probably will. But she won't really make any decent income until she's the owner. Alicia just put a great comment. Developing a succession plan involves identifying key positions and the skills needed for them, then assessing internal talent for potential successors. After identifying potential candidates, the next steps are creating and implementing development plans for them, and finally developing a smooth transition process for when the time comes. Pretty cool, short little description. Probably pretty accurate. All right, we've gone over everybody. Anything last little bit from anybody? We're going to turn those sections, because I was reading from a script, which I rarely do. How did you like that? Was that better than if I impromptu things? I don't use the word nearly as much. I think I had Mark just going back and forth to our web pages. I hope that turned out pretty good. And we are going to make funnel videos from that to market this hands-on education program we are going to create for 15 to 25-year-olds approximately. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your evening and day, and Precious Case, early morning. And we'll talk to you with, next week is William Horvath. And then talk with Wayne. I can't remember what day. What day is William?
William is Wednesday, and it's going to be at 11 Mountain Time in the morning. Yeah.
A little earlier here.
Yes.
Because he's in Croatia and it is later there.
Right.